There are days when the sky looks infinite. Blue, calm, full of promise. A place where freedom lives, where families soar, where the world seems small beneath the wings of adventure. June 8th was supposed to be one of those days. A return home. A familiar journey in a plane that had done it before. But instead, it became a moment that shattered lives, broke hearts, and pulled an entire family from the sky. It began with a flight plan. Simple. Phoenix to San Diego. A coastal memory. A father and his sons. A pilot and his wife. 6 souls on board. No one knew it would be the final chapter of their story. The twin-engine Cessna 414 took off into the sky, the hum of its engines carrying laughter, plans, and pieces of a life well lived. On board, Jeremy Bingham and his 3 sons, Ayden, Bailey, and Gavin. Alongside them, Landon Baldwin, the pilot, and his wife, Torrie. The day before, the Binghams had touched down in San Diego. It was one of those trips they had taken many times. Not for business, not for obligation, but for joy, for family, for togetherness. They were from Thatcher, Arizona, a place where people know each other, where roots run deep. This was a ritual, a tradition, a chance to breathe coastal air, to remember what matters. But that Saturday afternoon, something went wrong. Around 12:30 p.m., somewhere west of Point Loma, that familiar plane became a tragedy. Witnesses reported a series of erratic maneuvers. The aircraft twisted, turned, struggled. Then silence. Then impact. The sea, vast and unforgiving, took them. 15 minutes later, the Joint Operations Center received the first report. A crash. A loss. A wound tearing across the skies and deep into the earthbound hearts of those who knew them. The preliminary report from the National Transportation Safety Board is clinical, as such reports must be. It speaks of erratic flight patterns, of descent, of impact, of no survivors. But what it can never capture is the human truth. The gravity of 6 lives extinguished in a moment. Jeremy Bingham. A father, a friend, a foundation. He was the kind of man who built memories with intention. Who chose presence over absence. Who loved his sons fiercely, proudly. Ayden Bingham. Young, strong, full of promise. A football player. A leader. A young man once coached by Chaffin Woods, who now can only speak of Ayden in past tense. Bailey Bingham. Another light. Another son. Another piece of a family that moved through life as a unit. Together. Gavin Bingham. The youngest. A boy becoming a man. His future still unwritten, stolen too soon. Landon Baldwin. The pilot. The husband. The man behind the controls. Experienced, but not immune to fate. Torrie Baldwin. A wife. A companion. A soul who chose to fly with her husband, never knowing the sky would be their last embrace. This wasn't just a crash. It was a catastrophe for a town, a school, a church, a locker room, a dinner table. It was a moment that swept through Thatcher like wildfire, taking away not just people, but pieces of identity. Coach Chaffin Woods, his voice shaking, said it plainly, this was about making memories. That trip to San Diego was tradition. It was love. It was one more snapshot in the gallery of a close-knit family's life. But now those snapshots stop. Frozen. Final. People will analyze the aircraft. They'll inspect engines, study altitude, review maintenance logs. The NTSB will investigate for months. But the ones left behind will investigate something else, grief. They will question why. They will scream into pillows. They will look at old photos with eyes full of tears. They will try to understand how the sky could betray them. But skies do not betray. Skies are indifferent. And that is the hardest truth of all. What matters now is how we remember. Jeremy Bingham wasn't just a man on a manifest. He was a father who chose to invest his time in his sons. Ayden wasn't just a name on a roster. He was a young man chasing dreams under Friday night lights. Bailey and Gavin were not passengers. They were brothers, sons, friends, lives intertwined with a town that now aches without them. Landon and Torrie weren't statistics. They were a couple, in love, lost together. Let this not be the story of a crash. Let it be the story of love in motion. Of a father who kept showing up. Of sons who shared more than blood. Of a pilot who soared toward the horizon with the one he loved. Let this be a story that lives not in the wreckage, but in the memories they created, and the people who carry those memories forward. Because when the engines stopped, the legacy began. And though they have left this earth, they have not left our hearts. Rest in peace, Jeremy. Ayden, Bailey, Gavin, Landon, Torrie. You rose together. And now, you soar forever.